Hey there, welcome to That Dang Dad. My name is Phil, and the truth is in here. First things first, I wanted to let you know I got a little tattoo a couple days ago. It is to commemorate my daughter Lilith. It's the kind of occult sigil for Lilith inside of a triple goddess symbol. So I got that done in Acme Ink in Louisville, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Anyway, so, having a small infant is a lot like what I would imagine working at a nuclear silo is like. There's not a lot to do kind of moment to moment, but God help you if you're not around when you're needed. As such, my wife and I have been catching up on a lot of bingeable television and whatnot, and we've actually been revisiting The X-Files. It was something that we both grew up with, we both loved it, and we kind of wanted to check it out here in 2019 and see how it held up. For those of you who don't know, the premise kind of goes something like this. The X-Files is a division in the FBI. They got a stack of cases that are unsolved because they have some sort of unexplained, occult or paranormal or extraterrestrial type phenomenon going on with them. So they got a guy named Fox Mulder working the case. He's like a true believer, believes in all the conspiracies. And they pair him up with Dana Scully, who's a medical examiner, and get this. Dana Scully is a skeptic. She doesn't believe in any of it. And so it's kind of in a Monster of the Week format with kind of a loose mythology arc, kind of uniting all the episodes. The mythology has all these kinds of conspiracies and, aliens and things like that. It's kind of like QAnon, but it's not lonely boomers whose kids won't talk to them, that kind of thing. The show technically ended in 2002, but I would say like the heart of the show is a 90s paranoia techno thriller, and man does it show. Aside from kind of the PS1 era graphics, the kind of the whole premise is actually a little dated when you think about it. Like, I was a kid at the time, but man, I remember when UFO sightings used to be like a big deal. Like, you'd see them all the time, and everybody's always talking about them, UFOs. Nowadays, suddenly we all have, high-powered cameras in our pocket with instant upload to the internet, and suddenly you don't hear about UFOs too much anymore. Really makes you think. But the main thing I've been struck by is the dated feeling of sort of the capital P politics of the show. After 9/11 and all the things that followed, the sort of X-Files version of the federal government just feels weird. And stick with me here, I'm not advocating for anything, I'm just sort of observing as somebody who was 18 on September 11th. At least from my point of view, 9/11 kicked off this whole new era of politics. I mean, you had this event with massive casualties, there was accusations of negligence on both sides, these new agencies got created, new laws got passed, new privacy laws got passed, new police powers. There was this war in Afghanistan that was kind of popular, and then there was this other war in Iraq that was kind of unpopular. And there was intelligence failures and civilian casualties. It's just this seemingly unending series of conflicts and dust-ups and fuck-ups. And whether or not you feel like we were justified in what we did, I don't think it's controversial to say that we made kind of a big mess when we did it. And I guess just nothing about it felt clean and careful and well put together. And, nowadays, looking at the current administration, and it's just more chaos. There's all these leaks and whistleblowers and indictments and investigations, and just, it's a hot mess. And this has led to, for me, three things that make the X-Files feel pretty passé here in 2019. Number one, watching Mulder get outfoxed at every turn by this flawless government conspiracy. I mean, it just feels quaint now to think of the government running like a finely tuned machine. It doesn't even feel possible to believe in this elite, airtight conspiracy after, Edward Snowden and Chelsea Manning and Reality Winner. X-Files presents us with this cabal of true believer, ideological conspirators that have this broad, sweeping reach and thousands of agents and billions of dollars operating in all these countries, and all of it is just going off flawlessly, without a hiccup. I don't think so. The second thing that feels kind of laughable is the idea of a government conspiracy being used to cover up something exotic and interesting. Um, all these deep state operatives are there trying to cover up the existence of aliens and alien DNA and viruses and things like that. And it's just like post WikiLeaks. I mean, we know that there are conspiracies, but they're all really boring. It's all, domestic spying programs and arming our friendly militants in other countries and, covering up mistresses and sneaky abortions and things like that. So, I mean, the idea of a legion of government agents that are super passionate about aliens and not their bank accounts or their genitals, don't buy it. And lastly, in season 1, it feels like a lot of the conflict comes from our noble heroes struggling against procedural issues and jurisdictional disputes and just kind of generally chafing against, constitutional rights and department policy. Several episodes position privacy and lenient laws as a problem for good people to get around. And, regardless of your personal thoughts on any of those issues, I feel like it's, again, not controversial to say that that entire conversation after 9/11 and the war on terror and stuff like that, that entire conversation has completely shifted. Post 9/11, I mean, we are reeling from abuses of power, abuses against privacy, countless examples of rights being violated by people in power in the name of law and order. And I feel like America is right now struggling with certain issues like the fairness of felon disenfranchisement, or whether it's appropriate to ask for a criminal history on a job application. Civil asset forfeiture is a big deal. It just feels like many more people have been harmed by government overreach rather than government lenience. The X-Files presenting these two white government agents as these sort of thankless heroes who deserve to violate department policy and violate the law just feels a little in poor taste in 2019. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Am I way off base here? Shoot me a comment and let me know what you think. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Love a subscription if it pleases you. Other than that, I appreciate you watching the video, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching, and good night.